Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the weekly MMA Cycles Market Update. Today is the 22nd of May, 2024, and I am Gianni DePoce, your host. We have a lot going on in the stars right now, and it's a very intense, action-packed period of geocosmic activity with a lot of planetary changes taking place. So let me go ahead and share my screen here, and we can start off by looking at the Dow Jones. You know, we've been in this reversal period that we've been discussing for a few days now, but we started off this week with Gemini season has begun, and then today we have Sun trine Pluto, and keep in mind that we do have the FOMC minutes set to be released today at 2 p.m. Eastern, and then tomorrow we have Venus going into the sign of Gemini and forming a conjunction to Jupiter, and then we also have Jupiter forming a sextile to Neptune. So these aren't really bad transits right now, a lot of soft aspects. And I think we need to keep an eye on currencies, especially the euro, and I'll get to that in a moment, but also the energy market. And then over the weekend, we have Venus trine Pluto and Jupiter finally moving into the sign of Gemini. So Jupiter is in his detriment in the sign of Gemini. The expansion growth tendencies of Jupiter can become a little bit scattered in the sign ruled by Mercury. But more importantly, perhaps, is are the historical studies that suggest and indicate that the chances of a significant market top occurring while Jupiter is in Gemini is higher than usual. So we need to keep an eye on that, even though we saw stocks across the board make new all-time highs in the last couple of days. The Dow is looking strong right now, and especially the NASDAQ, which continues to lead the market higher. This is a good sign. You know, we came fresh off some Uranus signatures, conjunctions with Uranus in the sign of Taurus. Uranus rules tech, it rules breakouts. It looks like we're having a breakout, but keep in mind we are in the time band for a short-term market top to be completed at any time. I do want to take a look at the euro real quick. Usually I look at it later, but since I just mentioned the Venus and Gemini thing, I want to elaborate on that. So the last two significant highs that we saw on December 28th and then on March 8th all came within a few days. Actually, I think on December 28th, that was the very day that Venus went into Sagittarius. But March 8th was a couple days around Venus going into the sign of Pisces, and now we have Venus going into the sign of Gemini. So these are all ingresses into mutable signs. And so the last couple times we've seen that with Venus going into mutable signs in the euro, it's led to the formation of important tops. And so it's still a little early to say whether the May 15th high was the high, but the euro does seem to be in a new primary cycle. And Ulrich Aspergen did an excellent presentation on this last weekend at the mid-year MMA webinar update. But if this is the high associated with Venus going into Gemini, a mutable sign, then we could see the dollar continue to strengthen. And let's look at the Japanese yen while we're at it. Dollar is still pressing up against that high that we saw from a couple weeks ago, but I think right now it's still pretty choppy. Now, I do want to jump right into Bitcoin because we saw some really important price action per the study that we've been discussing with Venus and Taurus. So Venus goes into Gemini tomorrow, but according to our research, the probability of a 20% or greater move unfolding when Venus is in the sign of Taurus for Bitcoin is much higher. And we had that satisfied. From when Venus ingressed into Taurus, we needed to see a move either up to 68,000 or down to 52,000. We got the former, and we even exceeded it. So once again, the Venus in Taurus study leading to a 20% or greater move in Bitcoin has been satisfied. Now, that study kind of carries over to Ethereum as well, but for Ethereum, it's more pronounced when Venus goes through Libra. But Ethereum was the big mover this week after reports emerged that the SEC is considering approving the spot ETF. So investors that don't want to custody crypto on their own may have an opportunity to own it through an ETF. So that's the big move in the crypto markets this week. Let's take a look at gold and silver. We're seeing some sell-offs here in the last couple of days. Both gold and silver hit new highs. Gold hit a new all-time high. Silver hit its highest level in over 11 years. So this is bullish price action, but both are late in some trading cycles. So we need to be alert for some downside in the next couple of weeks, but I think it leads to a higher low and eventual resumption of the uptrend. Let's take a look at the 10-year Treasury yield. We're seeing it up a little bit today, but it's fading off that high. Sun, Trine, Pluto. I think this is going to be, we're going to see a big move here following the FOMC minutes and all of the Pluto signatures coming up, especially Venus, Trine, Pluto over the weekend. That's probably going to be important for the interest rate market. And last but certainly not least, I want to talk about energy. USO still selling off crude oil. It does appear that we completed a primary cycle bottom here, but still need to see some more confirmation. Jupiter sextile, Neptune, like I said, could lead to some oversupply. We'll see how that unfolds. But Puyan did an excellent update on this over this past weekend in the webinar as well. So I would encourage you to check that out if you didn't get a chance to view it. But some other notes, we did publish the Shanghai report this past Monday. And then today, the monthly ETF report will be released. So if you trade any of those markets, if you're interested in ETFs, check out our analysis on that. You can find that report at www.mmacycles.com. The recording from last weekend's webinar is now available. You will get the slideshows associated with all of the presenters' markets. It was very, very high level analysis and seems to be all panning out and according to the studies so far. And last but certainly not least, the Lake Bled investment retreat on September 19th to September 22nd. Check that out because spots are filling quickly. There's not much left. www.mmacycles.com. Send us an email or drop us a note in this video if you have any questions, and we'll reach out to you. And also subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.